All right. Hi, everyone. This is Stacy Hall with She to Be and the Attraction Zone. And I'm joined today by Brenda Weiner and Monica Grutzik. Both are members of our Attraction Zone team, where we support people in attracting and expanding passionately successful teams. And then they have their own businesses in their own right as well. They're both passionate bloggers and women business owners. So Brenda, if you'd like to introduce yourself a little bit, then we'll go to Monica, and then I'll explain a little more about what She to Be and the Attraction Zone is all about.
Thanks, Stacy. So my business is Pathways to Harmony, and I have the privilege of being able to inspire, educate, and equip people, specifically women, to take their businesses to the next level. And my husband and I own a business together, so I like to work with women who are in business with couples, because I live that every day, and so have lots of ideas and tips to share with my clients along those lines.
Fabulous. Fabulous. So Monica, a little bit about yourself.
My name is Monica Grutzik, and I am the owner of Ecstasy Hair Studio and Spa for about 25 years right now. And we have incorporated the salon into an organic, sulfate-free, paraben-free, PPD-free salon. We use all organic and natural products, and now we are expanding and going through the holistic side. So bringing a holistic wellness center into the salon. So that is a little bit about me.
Well, it's wonderful to have you both here. And both of you have been experiencing, implementing, and receiving successes from the different tips that we've been sharing here during this series of Blabs entitled What Not to Do When You're Building a Team. And I'm just curious, Brenda, what would you say so far of the 6 that we have already explored, which one would you say is producing the greatest results for you?
For me, it would be harmoniously powerful agreements. And tied in with that, because for me they go hand in hand. I don't seem to be able to do one without the other, is focusing on attracting the perfect people into my life to support me. And that includes how I interact with them. And so creating agreements with the people that I do business with, including my husband, and what that looks like to co-create together. They go hand in hand.
Okay, beautiful. So the episode that we did on how to communicate most effectively through agreements,
yes,
has been of value to you. And then the episode we did on how to get clear about who you intend to have those agreements with,
yes,
how to attract people. Okay, great. Monica, is there one or two that you are finding you're using more than others?
Well, definitely the SAP, the Strategic Attraction Plan, attracting the perfect people that I want to be around, that I choose to be around. And that has definitely helped. Modifying and adding to it, I see the growth and the changes even in the girls now. And even since I've modified it, I've actually attracted 3 new girls that will be starting July 1st.
Yay!
Fantastic. Now, are you expanding your team or refining your team?
That has helped me expand it and refine it. Both.
Okay, so I'm saying, are these like an additional 3 people, or are they replacing people from before?
Oh, no, they're additional 3 people.
Oh, so you are. So it's completely expanding. Correct. With more of what you desire. And for those of you who may just be joining us for the very first time for 7, which this is, you might have missed that Monica shared previously, there was a time when she didn't have anybody in her salon who matched the qualities on her attraction plan, and she fired them all when she created her plan, right? You went down to no employees in your salon.
True.
And to me, I still maintain that is like the greatest act of courage I think anybody could ever have. And of course, yes, people save lives all the time. but how often is someone willing to take a business that they developed, created, attracted people, have clients? You know, most people would say, well, this is better than nothing. And Monica didn't say that. She said, nothing is better than what I have. And white slate clean. And you've been growing and growing and growing ever since, with people who are even more perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that, because I know at the time you took people that you thought, you just said, this is what's out there. This is the best of what's out there, right? But using the attraction plan, you changed your perspective on who's out there and how to get them to come to you.
Correct.
All right, so that's like qualities of people. Monica, can you put it in financial terms? What would you say has been the increase in revenue on average since, oh, look at those. I know you weren't expecting me to ask you. And it's always important as business owners that we know what revenue is coming in, right?
Well, yes. Before I was barely making my rent, barely making my payments. So now I'm clear with all the stuff. I'm clearing everything, and it's just all I'm working from paycheck to paycheck anymore. So it's not all on my shoulders. I have a team, and the team is working, and that's why we're able to grow further. And now we are probably going to rent the upstairs and turn that into a holistic spa. So with all of that said, I don't know exactly the numbers, but it's definitely better than it was 3 years ago.
The fact is, you're not from paycheck to paycheck anymore. You not only are more than covering the rent, more than covering your supplies, having a nice living, and now expanding, having the money to expand.
Yes.
And really see your dream unfold, which is magnificent. Absolutely magnificent. Yay. And Brenda, you are starting a business with your husband. You have a business, but you are choosing to expand into a whole nother, you could say it's an adjunct off of the original business, but in some ways it's really a whole nother industry. Would you agree with that?
The raw materials that we're using, it's a wood-based business. So my husband and I currently have a business where we're making handcrafted furniture, doing custom kitchen cabinetry, that kind of thing. Our new business is, and that's direct to the consumer. Our new business is going to be a direct sell model, more of a party plan type of model, where we will have a product line that we make out of wood, and it'll be storage containers, those kinds of things. And that plan, that model, business model, will be where we have consultants that we're working with. And so we're in the process of putting all of those pieces together right now, so that we have our compensation plan in place, those kinds of things too. And then we'll be attracting our team members that will be coming alongside of us to build an independent business for themselves.
Fantastic. Beautiful. Well, so this gives you a little bit of an idea, those of you who are joining us for the first time, of what kinds of teams we support. But I also want to let you know that I'm actually a leader, in addition to being an author and a certified natural therapies and life coach. I'm a leader in a network marketing company. And that I always teach here with my team and with other teams inside of that organization. And actually, I am a leader there because that is my laboratory for testing out what I've always believed could be possible, and I've never heard anyone else talk about. And those are the things that we're not actually meant to do when we're expanding our teams or wanting to attract new people. Most people will tell you, go out and talk to lots and lots of people, and then eventually you'll wind up with what you want. And what I say is that's a lot of time and energy expended if we already get a sense just by interacting with people daily of what would be most perfect for us. And so today's episode, we've talked about scheduling for success in the past. We've talked about experimenting, exploring, and discovering in time saving ways instead of time expansion ways. We've talked about how to watch how a team grows from seeding to sprouting to blooming. We've talked about what Monica said, how to create a strategic attraction plan. And that allows us to be able to get clear who it is that would be perfect for our team. We've talked about, as Brenda mentioned, harmoniously powerful agreements, which are the 4 agreements we have with ourselves and with other people in order to have very effective communication inside of our teams. And we've talked about how to love, love, love on our fellow team members. What we're going to talk about today is how do we love, love, love on ourselves? Team leaders often get burnt out. Very often get burnt out. Long before they achieve the results that they've intended to achieve. And they get burnt out for a few reasons. And I say only a few reasons. And really, these can all be condensed down into a lack of appreciation. They don't feel appreciated, and they don't feel like the results that they're getting is a fair exchange for the energy they're investing. And there's a reason for that. It's that they're looking to other people for appreciation. They're using the community, if you will, to give them feedback that what they're doing is valuable. And I know this from coaching my clients, but I know this even more so from my own self. When I used outside validation, and when I get tired sometimes, and I have not been as consistent with my own practices. You know, sometimes we think that we're doing okay and we can let some things slide for a little bit. It's very easy for me to start looking at why am I not getting the responses I want, or that I intend to have, or that I choose to have. What is it that I might be doing wrong? What is it that I'm not doing enough of? How can I get other people to respond to me? Those are all questions that get asked when we're looking for outside validation. When we're looking at the results we're getting, and instead of saying, look at what I have produced, or look at what I have already put into place, or look at who has responded, when I look at the opposite, it's easy to get discouraged. Now, I may be the only one on this call that feels that way, but Brenda, Monica, any chance that you've ever felt the way I've just described?
Many times.
Yes.
Yeah. So you've been there, done that?
Yes.
Absolutely. It's very easy working with my husband to, when I worked in an office, there were other people, and it was, we would be in meetings, we would go to different events. There was a structure built in for that appreciation. And now working on a team with my husband and having that that spouse, wife, husband, wife relationship in addition to a business relationship, we haven't necessarily built in that structure of just sharing appreciation. I mean, we share appreciation in ways, not necessarily like, hey, great job on that presentation, Brenda. I don't necessarily get that from my husband. And so if I'm looking for outside validation from him, it's not always there. And that can get discouraging.
Okay, so you do have experience
Yeah.
with lack of appreciation. And Monica, and when was the last time? Can you remember a last time perhaps that you had the same experience
Well, at
going
work,
on where you were
no, because at
validation?
work, my clients are so true and dear to me that they always compliment their hair even before they leave, and always say how many compliments they receive after they leave the door. But mine was more at home. I do put in everything and what I do at home with love and with integrity and everything else, but I wasn't receiving it back. It was always what you could do for me, or mom, I need this, or my husband, I need this and I need that. Well, compliment me. And now it's definitely a lot better, because now at least when I make dinner or whatever, I could see the appreciation, where before it was like, I was their servant, not a person, that
Yeah.
was with them, and, wanting to make sure that they ate good quality food and spending time with them. And you don't feel like you were appreciated. You feel like you were there just serving them. But it's definitely has
I
changed.
understand that completely. Yeah, and teams, oftentimes we forget that our family is a team. It's the primary team. Monica, though, you talked about your clients. Now, when you talk about the other women in the salon, the people who you would actually be your team members, they've come to Team Monica, if you will, to work and build their business. Do you ever look to them for validation instead of to yourself?
No, because because of all of it being already on my strategic attraction plan and working with them, we complement each other all the time. There's always thank yous, and I mean, even before we leave. And two, it's something that is just done automatically. We walk in, it's good day, good morning. It's always thank you before we leave. If we see someone else doing something, helping us out, sweeping our hair, there's always that acknowledgement. We look at our clients after they're done and we compliment them. So that teamwork is definitely there. That's what I mean. The clients are always complimenting because they see us in a group setting and how welcoming we are when they walk through that door as a whole team, not just as one person. We actually had this experience where we went a couple weeks ago to a color class. We walked into the salon as being guests for this color class. Not one person greeted us when we walked into that door. They all stared while we walked to the back to the classroom to have a class, which was the strangest thing we've ever experienced, because we're so used to our setting and how we complement each other. And we do work as a team. Everyone helps one another. It's not, this is mine, that is yours. It really all has that nice flow.
Yeah. And so that is your attraction plan, definitely manifesting. What you said you wanted is there. And sometimes, though, we can tend to rely too much on that outside stimuli. So in certain cases, as Brenda talked about, she doesn't have a lot of the outside stimuli and she misses. And Monica, in your case, you have a lot of it and you have it the way you want it to. Either way, if we're looking to the outside stimuli to tell us that what we're doing is correct or is right or is the measure of our success, then we're missing something really huge, because it has to come from ourselves first. We can't be a fully functioning team member unless we give ourselves kudos first. No matter what stage we're in, when we're in the seeding stage of expanding our team or attracting and expanding our team, there's a lot of effort being expended where we may not see results. There might not be one sale. There might not be anything other than a bunch of meetings taking place. And those meetings may not feel very, very productive. We have to be willing in the to say, I appreciate myself for, and whatever that looks like. I appreciate myself for getting up today and being enthusiastic about moving it forward, even if it feels like I was pushing a boulder and it only moved this much. We have to be willing to get in the practice of doing that, because it's that self-appreciation that keeps us moving forward, that keeps us attracting people who appreciate us. So, Monica, you have all these people who appreciate you. I'm going to go back to, how do you start appreciating yourself? Because if you weren't, you wouldn't have had those people.
Oh,
You wouldn't have attracted those people. So what do you do to appreciate yourself?
well, that is definitely in your book, and that was something that has been taught from reading it. It is the appreciation and going ape on myself. So every single day, even a couple of times a day, when I finish a task or everything, my intentions, what I put through, even for today, that my, godchild had a successful surgery, that everything went smoothly. I set those intentions, those prayers. I go ape on myself because I took the time out to do that, and I'm appreciating myself. And yes, it was a process. It did take me some time, because when things didn't go my way, I didn't like it. So I would get upset with myself. So now, not focusing on that any longer and focusing on the things that I have accomplished and my intentions and the things that I have scheduled for today, that is what I appreciate myself for, is getting through those things. Even if I was slightly off, I still did it any way I could, and I got it done.
Beautiful. Now, you mentioned going ape a few times. Most people probably don't know at this point what that means. So ape is abbreviation for appreciation, perspective, experience. Appreciation, perspective, experience. And at the page, for those of you who are here with us live, I'm not sure if this will show up in the recording, but if you go to beanattractionmaster.com, in the fourth box here, there's information about that, but www.beanattractionmaster.com, you'll learn more about the book and more about the strategic attraction planning process. And inside of both the book and the program, you'll learn how to fully appreciate yourself as often as possible every day, because like attracts like. That is the law of attraction at work. And so many of my clients come to me. In fact, I had one just earlier today. And I'm obviously not going to share a client.
Oh, your video cut out, Stacy. Maybe you could just repeat what you just said.
Okay, great. So I had a client earlier today, and she shared with me a frustration that she's had for 5 years. She's believed the whole time in the law of attraction. She also believed it wasn't working for her. She didn't know what she was doing wrong. Now, I haven't been working with her for 5 years. We've only been working together a couple of months. And little by little, her trust in me has been growing to the point where today she confided something very deeply in me. To me, not in me, to me. And what she shared was that she hasn't felt passionate about her business in all these 5 years, because somewhere along the way she began to realize her clients didn't feel passionate about what she was sharing with them. She would offer support. They would listen while she was with them, and they'd go away and do something else entirely. And then they come back. And over this period of time, although people were coming back, they weren't doing what she wanted them to do, what she encouraged them to do. And so over the course of time, she stopped believing. in her own work, in her own gifts, in her own skills. And she thought that she was coming to me for coaching. The reason she wanted it was to find out something else to do. What else could she do instead of what she's been doing all these years? And what we discovered was that all that happened is she had been attracting the wrong kinds of clients. Instead of being clear with them up front, this is here in the session is only part of the work we're going to do together. When you leave here, that's the other 50%. Do it, don't do it. But if you're going to continue to be my client, you're going to do it. Otherwise, what's the point of being my client? Does this make sense, Brenda and Monica?
Yes.
Yeah. She stopped being passionate about why she created the business she created and how she works with clients. And she started only doing a small portion because she didn't think they appreciated it anyway. But it wasn't the fact that they didn't appreciate it. It's that she stopped appreciating herself. So she began to attract more and more clients who didn't appreciate what she had to offer. And today, when we started looking at that, when did you stop giving yourself appreciation? It was an exact timing fit for when the business transformed into being something she didn't want to do anymore. And it's a very simple fix. Appreciate what we bring to the table. And other people will appreciate what we bring to the table too. And yes, we don't want to brag, but I'm going to tell you exactly again how I suggested to her that she do this. And I would suggest that when we're bringing team members on, we do something very similar. So if you want to take notes, now would be a good time. I suggested to her that she have an intake form, and that on this form, she would say, this is how much of the work we're going to do together is in the office. Here's what I'm going to expect you to do at home in between visits. Are you willing to do it? Are you going to do it? If you choose not to do it, what is your reason for choosing not to do it? And have them fill it out before their first conversation. In other words, that is their first conversation, but before she just starts working with them. That would be the first session, to identify whether the person's going to be the kind of client she really wants to work with or not, and to help them understand why she has the policies she has. Because everybody deserves to be educated, right, Brenda?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, everybody deserves to be educated. Maybe they didn't understand. Okay, give them the chance to be educated. If they still don't want to do it, then that's her choice to accept them or not to accept them. For myself, during my first sessions, I explained to people that I charge a lot of money for my coaching sessions because I work very quickly. My techniques and procedures, when implemented, shift people to be more successful very quickly. Keeps them out of being in the doldrums, brings them back up to being in an enthusiastic place where they can attract what they desire, and their businesses shift very quickly. I only want to work with somebody who wants to make these kinds of fast shifts. So we have discussions about what that would look like. Brenda, do you qualify anybody based upon appreciating yourself first and what you bring to the table?
Yes, I do. I don't do it through the intake form. I always do a conversation with them, and I let my clients know what my process is. So one of the services that I provide is a type of wellness scan. And I always let them know that here's the process that we go through, and here's how you can take the information from that report and that scan and what you can do with it after you have that in your hands. That it's not an end-all be-all. It's not going to give you a quick fix pill. It's going to give you information. It's going to educate you. And then we have a conversation about, is that what they were expecting? Is that, because most of my clients come to me through a referral basis. So were they given information in a way that they understood to be actually what the service is that I provide? So we do have that kind of a conversation.
So you clarify, and you know the value of that tool.
Absolutely.
If they don't want it, you're not going to proceed in giving a tool, correct?
Exactly. Yes. For a long time, I did have, I felt uncomfortable with the dollar amount that I had put on there. And I can tell you, I can look back in my accounting records and tell you exactly where I shifted, because my revenue shifted the minute I shifted what I felt about the value I had placed on my services.
Right. And absolutely. Because like attracts like.
Yes.
It isn't the more people who like me, the more people are going to be attracted to me. It's the more that I appreciate what I'm doing and what I'm creating and what I'm offering and the value, and standing firm in that. Now, I can always make an exception to the rule if I choose to in the moment. And that doesn't actually diminish my appreciation for myself. If I decide to make an exception, I appreciate myself for that. But too often, people are constantly questioning their services, their tools, what they bring to the party of a team. They're questioning themselves, and then they wonder why other people don't have, I'm going to take this out. It feels like I'm yelling. They wonder why other people don't appreciate them. Well, why should they? You don't have confidence in yourself.
Yes, exactly. And like I said, right. I can really see that change and shift. Earlier you talked to, so I too represent a product line that's part of an MLM company. And I was with that company from 2003 to 2008, 5 years. And in that 5 years, I was of the mindset that I was only using the product for myself, and I had no desire to build a team. Occasionally I would, share with someone what I was doing. I never got anyone asking me any questions. In 2008, we as a family made a decision that we were going to take a family trip, and we were going to go to the annual convention for that particular company. We hadn't even bought our tickets to the convention. We hadn't bought our airline tickets. We had just made the decision to do that. And my family members who knew I had been using this product line for 5 years, who never wanted anything to do with it, the minute we made that decision, the phone started to ring, and people were asking me questions about the product and wanting to buy. It was so black and white an experience for me that there's no doubt in my mind that it was me that was holding myself back.
Always, because right, absolutely. This is what this myth is about, that on a team, we look to see what other people on the team are thinking, feeling about us, and we operate based on that instead of showing up, feeling good about ourselves, and not letting what these other people are doing affect how we feel about ourselves. And the only way we can do that is if we've used our own strategic attraction plan and we know the tools and the ways of dealing with that. So this is all that there is about this particular episode is, do you have your own strategic attraction plan in place? If not, visit beanattractionmaster.com to learn how to create one, and then start truly spending more time appreciating the time and energy that you've invested in acquiring skills and gifts and tools that you have to bring to other people. When you start doing that, you'll begin to notice that other people are appreciating you more too. Brenda, any final thoughts as we close up today's Blab?
The more truly, I mean, everything we've talked about today is so important. And what I shared earlier about my husband and not necessarily getting that feedback, what I was realizing as we went through the Blab is that I was looking for very specific feedback. He does give me appreciation and he does say thank you and those kinds of things, and yet it's a blanket. It isn't specific to, that particular intentional activity or that particular presentation. It's more of a blanket one. And so understanding that just giving myself, amping up and ramping up how I appreciate myself on a per task basis, a per intentional activity thing completed, that's really important for myself and probably for some other people too. So wanted to share that, being specific, not general, yes. Specific.
Very specific. And Brenda, thank you for all the posts that you've been doing all throughout our conversation. You have provided such a valuable tool. On my attraction plan, I have that my team members support me in providing really valuable tools. And so it's great that you've captured all the key points that we've covered today. So again, if you would like more, you want to watch another video where we chat about what is the strategic attraction plan, go to beanattractionmaster.com. Revisit YouTube and Blab for the What Not to Do When Building a Team series if you haven't caught up with all the previous 6 episodes. Episode number 8, we're going to be talking about how to clear clutter out of the way. How clutter gets in the way of teams. So actual physical clutter and emotional and mental clutter. How does that get in the way of us being leaders of teams and as a result not being as successful? So until next time, thanks for hanging out in the attraction zone with Brenda and Monica and me, and may you be completely successful. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.